Okay, so my name is Adam Sheck, and this animal behavior I'll be talking about during this presentation is lizards dropping their tails, and more specifically, why do green anoles drop their tails? I used to have a pet gecko growing up as a kid, so this came to me pretty easy. So a little background information on green anoles. They're reptiles in the animal kingdom. They're small lizards that can turn brown. They're 5 to 8 inches, and they are relative to North America and can be found in the southeast states of the United States. The average lifespan in the wild is anywhere from 3 to 6 years, but in captivity, it's usually around 4. They're arboreal, so they like to play around in trees, and they're diurnal, which means they're around during the day, sleep at night, just like us humans. So, what is this behavior I'll be talking about? Uh, an anole can sever its tail as a self-defense mechanism. It's also known as a flight mechanism, which we mentioned in class, like fight flight. And they're small lizards. They're not fighters. They have an eagle coming at them. They're dropping their tail, and they're gonna run. This is also known as autonomy or self-amputation, and majority of lizard species can do this, but not all of them can drop their tails. And imagine just dropping one of your limbs entirely off, and you're just walking around with one arm. But that's what they do. Over time, it will grow back, but I'll get into that. And yeah, instead of fighting off the predators, they'll run away. So why do they do this? The green anoles will drop their tail to survive longer, prolong their life in the wild because they're a prey. They're not a top species in the food chain. They're gonna have predators after them looking for an easy meal. They are very fast, so that is a bonus of them dropping their tail and running away. But there's also a drawback, which I'll get into later. And once the anole drops its tail, the tail will distract the predator because it will still be moving around like it's a part of the lizard still. And this is not painful at all to the animal. So, how does this work? Lizards are born with a fracture plane in their tail, and if a point on the tail is hit or stressed, the muscles along the fracture plane will pull away instead of coming together as how they're formed, which means that the tail will be able to drop. And the lizard can choose to do this themselves, or it's usually when they're in a very stressed environment or situation, like danger or like getting attacked from a predator. There is no blood loss when this happens because of over time the fracture plane has developed um, through evolution, so no blood is lost. It's just meat wiggling around. And then you can actually in this picture you can tell this green anole is a female because of the white stripe on its back. So that's a little cool fun fact. And the effects of this of the anole losing its tail is that once it's dropped, so anoles are special because they can grow back their tails. Not all lizards that drop their tails can do that. But it takes around 2 months, 60 days for the tail of an anole to come back and be functioning how it normally does. It will come back shorter, and it won't be like the same coloration. It'll be a little bit off because it's it's like a little nub that grows back over time, and it just keeps growing. Um, with the loss of the tail, The negative effects that it has on the animal is that it won't be able to run as fast without the tail because it won't be balanced. Um, it will become a lower ranking member in society, and it will be seen less attractive to females. So it's it's a pro con situation because it by losing its tail it prolonged its life, but its fitness decreases in a way because it's not as desirable sexually, so its genes will not be sought after to be passed on by other females. And then in the second picture here, you can see the back of the tail. That's the little nub growing back. Um, and this isn't an anole, but the I couldn't find a good picture of the anole with the tail detached with it. This is just a lizard losing its tail, and this is the works cited. Thank you.